Mastering verbs. Understanding intransitive verbs and passive voice. Hello, English learners. Welcome to another episode of our Grammar Fundamentals series. Today, we're going to dive deep into a fascinating aspect of English grammar: intransitive verbs in the passive voice. Sounds interesting, right? Stick with us, and we'll make sure you walk away with a solid understanding of this topic. Let's get started. First, let's take a step back and quickly recap what intransitive verbs are. They're verbs that don't require a direct object to complete their meaning. They stand alone, and their action doesn't pass to a receiver. Examples include run, sleep, laugh, and arrive. Example: John runs every morning. Sarah arrived at the party. Notice how in these sentences, there's no object receiving the action of the verb. Next, let's clarify what we mean by passive voice. In English, sentences are typically constructed in the active voice, where the subject performs the action on the object. In the passive voice, the object of the action becomes the subject of the sentence. Example: active: John baked the cake. John is the subject, performing the action. Passive: the cake was baked by John. The cake, previously the object, becomes the subject. Now, here's where things get interesting. Remember, intransitive verbs don't take an object, right? So, traditionally, they aren't used in the passive voice because there's no object to become the subject of the sentence. But English is a living language and doesn't always follow the rules. Some intransitive verbs can be used in a form of passive voice. This is most common with intransitive verbs that imply some kind of movement or change of state. Example: active: the sun rose at 6 a.m. Passive: at 6 a.m., the sun was risen. It's important to note that while such constructions exist, they're not common in everyday language and are usually found in a more literary or formal context. And that wraps up our exploration of intransitive verbs in the passive voice. It might seem a bit tricky at first, but keep practicing and soon it'll become second nature. Remember, language isn't always about rigid rules. Sometimes, it's about the beauty of exceptions. We hope this video has been helpful in your English language learning journey. Keep practicing, and we'll see you in our next video where we'll dive into more exciting aspects of English grammar. Happy learning!